Uh-oh. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. Kevin, my guy. Oh my God, we're in here. Okay, yeah. Give me a few. We're gonna get going here. Holy, holy hell. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here we go, fellas. Here we go. Was not the best start, but you know we're here, and we're gonna build some FanDuel lineups. Kevin, Jacob, what's going on? Yes. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of ease into things as everyone trickles in here. Obviously I gotta set everything back up. So obviously if anyone has any questions off the rip, feel free, let them rain. We will get them going here. So yeah, I gotta pretty much get everything going. So basically, what was happening? I was hitting go live, and just nothing was happening. So that was fun. So yeah, I just had to like reinstall everything. Just gotta upload projections again. It's been a mess, but yeah. Let me know how y'all doing. And Johnny, what's going on, man? Kevin, this is first NFL main slate stream, man. Hey, let's go. Yeah, so we're gonna be building a bunch on FanDuel. Let's get this out of here. I know there's a few guys I gotta change an FC off the rip. Here we go. So yeah, if y'all don't know, CG said in chat that for Tyshawn Williams, we're going to manually do the projection. What? Hello? There's no Williams. Hello? What are we doing? Oh, that's weird. Where's he at? He has it 12.83. So yeah, you just got to manually put in the projection FC. And I got to get DeAndre Swift as well. DeAndre Swift is at 13.94. Let's see. Best way to make a secondary sack for 150. Make groups with guys to see in early crunches as one-offs or something like that. Yeah, so the easiest way is groups. Yeah, so easiest way to do it. Like say you want to do the Minnesota game, right? So you want Minnesota, and then say you want Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and say just throw in KJ Osborne, and then you want Seattle. Then we add Metcalf, lock it in there, right? And so, I mean, that's saying use any of these wide receivers from the game. Use a wide receiver from the Seattle side, and obviously you can like throw in Dalvin Cook if you want to go. Yeah, you can throw in Dalvin Cook if you want to like go that way, but let's see. Toller, those are old projections. Okay, hold up, we will check it out. So the running backs, Baltimore. Oh, that's DK. 12.83. Yeah, that's what I put in. Let's see, Detroit. 13.94. Yeah, yeah, that checks out. It's total. I'm putting him in for FanDuel, not DK. That's probably what you're thinking of. Let's see. My main question is either going 3-man or 4-man stacks on DK. It seems I'm scraping the barrel at positions with a 4-man KC Charger stack. Yeah, so I mean that's gonna be really expensive. A way we can look at that is you just go to the stack tool, and then you can see just how much that's actually going to cost you. So say you want to go, um, so like to an opponent, right? Going a pretty big game stack. Right, so I mean, Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, and Keenan Allen. Well, let's assume that's what you're going for. Using a lot of salary, using a lot of your cap, using 52%. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, if you do that, you're gonna have to find some value elsewhere. Whether that's like a Javonte Williams or someone like that. You're definitely gonna have to find some value. I mean, that's just gonna be a tough stack. But I mean, this is a stack thing that can get you, 100, 120 points. So I mean, there's a trade off there for sure. Let's see. Okay, yeah, looks like I caught up. So I'm gonna start this FanDuel stuff. So I'm pretty much starting this from scratch. So I figured this would be a good way to just kind of go through everything. And what do I want to uncheck here? I'm pretty sure it's that. There we go. So this is really my first run on FanDuel. So something I like to do off the rip is I like to just like set up like a basic stack, right? And then I'm just gonna crunch this for 150, and I'm gonna see what we get. Let's say that's one unless pair with a quarterback, and this is just like a base 150, and then I like to make my adjustments from there. And this is leaving everything, like 100%. This is very base stuff. So it basically shows me, who stands out in the median projections. And then, it kind of shows like where the field could possibly go, right? Try using double tight end lineup. Yeah, I mean, double tight end is not something I typically recommend at all. But it is dependent, right? So yeah, it really depends on I suppose the contest and how actually that lineup looks. But I would say a lot of the time it just kind of yeah, I feel like it looks a lot better with the wide receiver in the flex than the tight end does, but sometimes double tight end does hit, so it really depends. Dang, this is going slow because I got everyone in the pool. Okay, let's just go ahead and stop it there. So it's like a 50-50 split between Lamar and Mahomes right now. Who's in the Lamar stack? On a Marquise Brown? That's interesting. 6% ownership. So I mean, maybe our projections are higher on Marquise Brown than the field is, which is interesting. Saquon Barkley just straight up popping like we thought he would. No surprise there. Joe Mixon looking pretty good in the mid-range, 10%. That's interesting. Mixon's not a guy I'm crazy about this week. Obviously, the KC guys are standing out. Yeah, we're naturally getting Kelsey and Hill with this Mahomes stack. So, I mean, if you go here on FanDuel, you're going to get different elsewhere. So, that's something to keep in mind. Maybe there's, like a cheaper option. Like maybe you end up going Herbert with that stack. Let's see, Johnny, for 150, are you trying to be overweight on mediocre stacks or spread out exposure, get that one big lineup? So Yeah. So basically, like say like I'm preparing for my 150. Like that's pretty much what I'm doing. This is just the base. So I really determine which stacks I want first, and then I kind of go from there. So like right now, Lamar, I don't think you have to run him as a stack at all. I don't even think you need a Detroit guy on the run back. But if you were to run him as a stack, I would say Brown and Rangers would be the guy. But I don't think you have to force that at all. Because Lamar is only throwing, 26 times a game. Maybe through 30 in week one. But I mean, really, what you're getting Lamar for is the rushing upside. So, and he is 8,400. So I mean, that's a solid price tag. All right, let's take a look at top stacks for FanDuel. Let's just look at it. What looks the best, right? All right. So something stands out. Top four stacks, all coming from the same game. Actually, really, 6 of 7. Actually, oh heavens! Of the top 10, we have 8 stacks coming from the same game. So maybe that's the game we need to attack. Again, for me, it really depends on ownership. I'm fully confident Casey's going to score the points, but the Charger side, how is that going to fare? We really don't know. The Chargers were supposed to do really well last week, but we saw what happened against Dallas. So we're gonna have to make a decision there for sure, right? Highest GPP target score ranking right here. I mean, this looks like the best stack so far. Third in projection, third in rating, seventh in value, first in target score. That looks good. It is Herbert chalk. Justin Herbert, 6% owned. So it's interesting. Is Keenan Allen up there? Mike Williams at 12%, Keenan Allen at 11%. So I mean, yeah, that is going to be a much lower owned stack than the KC side if you go with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So let's try to do. I'll tell you what, we can do this. This is something I like to do as well, just to kind of test, like how this stack is going to look. So I would want 2 of those guys. Let's just crunch 20. 20 Herberts, just to see how it looks. We're not getting all Travis Kelce in these either. And this is just like straight optimal stuff. I mean, like this lineup, I probably wouldn't want to run it. I don't even mind having Eckler in a Herbert stack either. So, I mean, if you want to run that route, you want to go Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, I think that's certainly fine. Do not mind that at all. Let's see. Brent Steelers run D is good. Yeah. Yeah, and the Bengals have a low total too. So that certainly might be a way to go. But yeah, guys, I'm really gonna determine how I'm gonna be looking on FanDuel during this stream. So, if you want to kind of walk through the slate with me, that's fantastic. Obviously, any questions that you have, feel free to put them in the chat, and we will get those answered. But really, just running through the slate right now and seeing where we're gonna go. So I mean, yeah, off the rip, that game looks really good, for sure. But yeah, let's see what other ways we can go. Top 3 projected. Actually, you know what? I should probably get some ratings in here as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Do that. And we just want the ratings in there just to see how it looks. Okay. So top rated, Lamar. Okay. So, I mean, it really coincides with the projections here. Interesting. I mean, less people are on Josh Allen, but I don't know. I'm concerned. I played Josh Allen, the first 2 weeks. The volume's there. Um, it's just a matter of, is the actual production going to be there? I mean, when he was rolling last season, we see these high completion percentages, like 80% when he tossed 40 passes. But now, I mean, we're seeing it in the 50s. Is if he's going to be that inefficient, it's going to be tough to rely on him. Washington looked bad last week, but I mean, we know the talent's there on that defense. That's tough for sure. Johnny, how do you approach defense at a lower exposure and let projections lead? Yeah, I really just whatever defense fits in there is the defense I go with. I don't prioritize any defense really. So like when I toss out a player pool and I have defenses listed, those are just the defenses that showed up. With my stacks. So, there's just a ton of variance there, and I don't really think you should. Like I wouldn't go defense first. Because there's just so many variables that can go in. And I mean, really, the only thing that you can rely on for defense to get is maybe sacks, but even that has a ton of variance. So, let's check out the running backs. Ownership is interesting here. Obviously, Kamara against New England, lower total. That's going to be a lower owned guy. Joe Mixon looks really good in the ratings, and I mean, the workload's there, right? We know he's getting like 20 to 25 touches. It's a tough call. I don't expect him to get, 4.5 yards of carry against this defense, but we'll see. I don't mind going to Joe Mixon. I think that's fine. Nick Chubb, carries are down, which I don't like. But, I mean, he's getting in the end zone. So, I mean, you're really relying on him being extremely efficient with his carries. I'm thinking I'm probably going to be pretty low on Saquon. I do like Eckler, but he is much more popular over here, so I may end up going elsewhere. Let's see. Where's Javonte Williams at? 5,800. Javonte Williams is a guy I'm really high on Super Draft. But I mean, if he's just not popping over here, I'm not going to force it. A lot of Cooper Kupp for the field. Targets are there. It's interesting. Let's see. Johnny, I get your point. Not something that affects the lineup building. It's whatever fits with. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not necessarily forcing, one defense because, I mean, like say you roster Washington because you think they're going to get off after Josh Allen, whatever. But then, like Tampa Bay just has an insane game and they get 2 pick sixes, right? So, I mean, I would just rather spread out there. Let's see, tight ends. 3 tight ends staying out in the ratings. That's interesting. Kyle Pitts' price starting to come up. I mean, Kyle Pitts is going to have a game at some point. He's going to... I really think he's going to end up being a guy that, he's a lot higher priced later in the season. So, I mean, maybe we want to jump on that before, everyone else does. Because, I mean, obviously everyone's going to Kelsey. But, if Kyle Pitts even gets close to Kelsey with that salary differential, then we may be looking pretty good. So, tell you what, let's do this. Let's check out the top 3 projected. And let's go from there. So that's 34%. And then running backs, let's do a base of 65, and then we'll make our pivots from there. And then wide receiver, tight end, just because it's so much variance there. I like to go 30%. Like if you're higher on Travis Kelce, I'll probably have him higher, but again, this is just like base stuff. Defense, I go 15%, just really gives me a nice spread. So I got no locks on. Let's crunch 150 and see what we get. So, let's see, guys. We only got 73 lineups possible. Interesting. Oh, I think I'm still allowing two. Let's go down to one. Again, this is just a test to see what we get. I don't mind going two-player there, just to just to kind of see what we get. And just for this, let's just say we want no running backs to the quarterback, because we don't have anyone in there that I want to stack with a running back. What do you think of Gibson on DK? Okay, let's go ahead and check out the study hub. We're looking at Washington running backs. Gibson on DK, 5,900 is a really nice price. Yeah, that's something I do like for sure. So I mean, the alarming thing is the total, but I mean that's kind of baked into, like the quarterback play. Let's see here. Really nice market share for the running backs first 2 weeks. People are probably gonna be afraid because of McKissick. But I mean, it's really gonna be reliant on how he does on the ground against Buffalo. So I mean, let's look at the whole position, and then let's go by DK salary. And then let's look at his range. So he is right here. So, I mean, around him. Okay, so this is a good way I like to look at it. I mean, so we got like DeAndre Swift, Tyshawn Williams down here. Chase Edmonds is probably a guy that people are going to go to. Let's just check out DK FanDuel. Or not. Wow. FC on DK. Let's see. Let's just see where we're at. This is like all old stuff, by the way, so don't pay too much attention. And Tony Gibson 7%. So I mean that's probably a solid pivot. Swift. I mean, who's really owned around him? I guess you would go down from this Joe Mixon to Saquon Barkley range, and you go down to Antonio Gibson. I think that's fine. I mean, the upside is definitely there. This is obviously like a GPP play because I mean we know this is in the back pocket. This is in the range of outcomes. It can definitely happen. So we can look at the range of outcomes. And then get all the games that we want. And we go running back. And I think 25% is a solid one to look at. And Antonio Gibson, he's 5,900. I'm definitely higher on him than like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But obviously you're paying more there. Yeah, I think he's a solid GPP play. I really don't mind it at all. That may be a guy I have in MME, and then you're just really hoping he hits a ceiling. Let's see. See, Toller, I have a 30% cap at running back, and he's one of those running backs I have 30% of. It's interesting. I think that's a fairly low cap for running back as well. So you're probably going to get a really good spread there. Let's see. Johnny, you posted a link to this on Twitter. This is fun. Yeah, it should be on the Rise or Fall Twitter. That should be where this link goes out to. Let's see. Who did I miss here? Frank, tight end against the Giants, always a good play. Not always, Frank. Not always. Actually, are they bad against the tight end? Do we have that sort of information right now? Who is bad against the tight ends? I mean, obviously, this is 2-week sample size, but I mean, the Giants are pretty low. Let's see, what stack settings you use for Super Draft? Okay, so for Super Draft, really think about the contest you're entering. But I can actually pull up Super Draft right now, and we can go over that. In my look, small stacks and Super Draft did really good. Do I have anything here? Okay, let's go used. There we go. So my settings should be in here. Yeah, it's really bare bones settings. I don't think you need to do something that's, really crazy to get good Super Draft lineups, because you can really play whoever you want. So it's really a matter of, okay, so like Super Draft, like we don't have ownership right here, right? But we know, like these top 3 running backs are going to be pretty highly owned just because they grade out well. And, if you're just, you're doing like a pretty raw 150, these guys are going to show up a lot. So, I mean, I don't think, you don't need to go heavy stacks on Super Draft. In my review of lineup study, like we can even go back. We can even go back here and take a look at it. So let's say Super Draft, week 2, main slate. Let's check out the stacks here. And, you got unstacked right here. You got a 3-man. It's actually a 3-man of just the Cardinals. But, you're not seeing any insane stacks, right? We see, 3 4-man stacks? 4 4-man stacks in the top 25? So, you don't have to go super heavy on Super Draft. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we're going back to FanDuel. But yeah, just finish up the Super Draft stuff. So these are the thumbs I gave, and yeah, you see, just one thumbs down to Saquon Barkley pretty much put him out of my pool. So I really don't think I'm going to be heavy there at all. And if I'm getting the passing game, I don't think I need Saquon Barkley. So I really like Austin Eckler as a direct pivot off of Barkley. I just think the floor is much higher there. And we really still don't know what we're getting out of Barkley. And if he's going to be highly owned, I would rather just go somewhere else. And Javonte Williams at 2x really stands out. Because he's a guy that can, he can get the big plays. Really efficient last week against a bad Jacksonville team. He's playing the Jets this week. So, I think he is going to end up getting more work down the line. So, if I can jump on that early, I'm going to. And, that's a GPP shot I am definitely willing to take. So, let's take a look at these lineups. And, where exactly we're going to go here. So, again, guys, FanDuel. So, let's see here. Let's just, let me refresh so I can look at ratings. All right. Okay, here we go. yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you slap a like on the video. Pretty much just shows me that you're enjoying the stream, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, feel free to do that as well. Yeah, gonna be doing these all season long. So yeah, thank you guys for the support. Let's see here. Can we sort this by rating? So which of these look really good? James Robinson really stands out in the ratings. It's interesting. It's interesting. We're gonna get a lot of Barkley, Antonio Gibson pairings up here in the ratings. Decent way to look at it. Mike Davis. It's hard to say what the ceiling is for Mike Davis. Hot hand approach. We just hate that. I wouldn't prioritize Mike Davis at all. He might be a guy that I want as like a shot, but do I want a lot of Mike Davis? Probably not. So you see, we get this Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods pairing here. Is that something that's going to pay off? Probably not, right? Because, yeah, I think if Cooper Kupp's getting a lot of the work, then Robert Woods is not. Got it right here, too. That's interesting. Get a Mahomes Hardman lineup here. Mike Williams is coming back as the run back a lot. Got pretty much no Keenan Allen. So that may be something that we want to adjust. We got Mike Williams and Austin Eckler pairing here. Actually, a pretty decent game stack that we did enforce. So we got Mahomes to Kelsey with Williams and Eckler on the run back. Really don't mind that at all. And then we got just a natural secondary stack of Mixon and Claypool. It's interesting. Steven, favorite GPP stack on FanDuel? Running through that right now, actually. I do not have a lean right now. But obviously Mahomes is going to look really good. Do I want to run Mahomes in, like the piggy bank? I don't know, right? It's just the thing about these stacks is, the ownership's just so high. All right, my highest owned lineup is that Mahomes to Williams, Kelsey and Eckler lineup, so that may be something I want to avoid. So here's another way we can go about this. Let's say we do this. We want all the quarterbacks over 100 rating. It's a pretty decent sized pool. And then we divide that 100% between them. And then let's crunch. So we crunch 500. And this, I'm going to add some randomness in here too, just to kind of speed along. Obviously I want some uniques, and I want to use my salary as well. And let's add some randomness. Let's say 15%. Let's add a little bit something in there. Crunch those 500. And then go about it that way. What do you think about Cordell Patterson? It seems like he might have more upside than Mike Davis. I would agree he has more upside than Mike Davis. That's tough. From that game, I definitely like. Like if I want the Falcons offense, I definitely want Pitts or Ridley over him. He's not even in the running back pool in FC. I'm pretty sure you could play Patterson at running back on FanDuel, but I might be wrong there. I mean, 14 total touches. Got there because he got in the end zone twice. I don't think that's something you can rely on a week to week basis. You know, I mean, his rushing attempts, he was not efficient at all. So I mean, you got to think the variance is going to kick in there, and he just gets more rushing yards. I don't think it's a bad flyer to take. I would say that's my stance. It's not a bad shot to take, and if that's something you want to do, then go ahead and do that. So I did have stacks on, right? I didn't just crunch that for nothing. Okay. Now let's just take out, you know, some of the more popular stacks. I mean, this is just a way to just filter, you know, what lineups you don't want. I would say 184 is probably a bit aggressive. Something below. I probably want to get the 150 highest owned out of here. It's just really a way to see what quarterbacks stand out. You see, I pretty much got rid of a lot of Mahomes lineups, a lot of Stafford lineups as well, and it really elevated the Kyler Murray and Josh Allen lineups. That is definitely interesting. You know, that may tell you that they are better GPP plays than you would think. So, let's see here. Again, I don't think you need to stack Lamar. But, I mean, if you are Lamar to Marquise Brown with Hawkinson coming back is fine, for sure. Let's see here. So, let's look at these. Let's look at these individually. Let's go to Josh Allen. See how these look. You know, are we going back to the well here? Oh, I definitely don't want defense in there with a with my tight end. That's not something I want. Got a pretty big game stack here with Allen, McLaurin, Gibson, and Diggs. I'll probably say in this situation I'll want another Buffalo receiver if I'm going to run that. So something to think about. See, Toller, maybe an outlier. Okay, yeah, probably talking about Cordell Patterson. Yeah, something to keep in mind. Let's see. Who really stands out in these lineups? I mean, just a ton of Saquon. I really think that this is going to be a pivot I make. Is off of Saquon. I'll tell you what, we're going to do this right now. So, something you can do here is going by salary and then just making those pivots. So, I don't want to be on Saquon Barkley. So I'm going to give him... We'll try one thumbs down first. And then go from there. And then... You know, from that, who else do I want? Obviously, I'm probably going to get more Antonio Gibson. If I just leave this as is. I mean, is there anyone down here further that I want? You know, really, who stands out here? Mike Davis, I'm not really there, if I'm going to be honest. You know, I really don't think he brings the upside that I need in a running back slot. So, I mean, I would rather take a chance on some other more volatile guys that have the upside. I mean, like Kareem Hunt, maybe. Yeah, I mean, at least we know Kareem Hunt has the upside, so that's something to keep in mind. James White is interesting. Obviously more touchdown dependent on FanDuel. So I mean, if this was DK, I probably definitely want James White more. And I don't think there's anyone down there that I want. Javonte Williams. I mean, is this a pivot I want to make? I want to make here, right? Am I gonna think that Javonte Williams is gonna get, a much higher market share than he's had the first 2 weeks? So like we go Denver running backs in the study hub, and we can take a look at the market share. Where are we at? Market share 46 for Williams and 41 for Gordon. So it's really an even split, and I'm pretty sure Gordon has been less efficient. 2.4 yards per carry last week. I really want to go there. I do. I think I'm going to see if he comes in the crunches without me kind of forcing it. Let's see here. I mean, Damian Harris is going to get a lot of carries. If he pushes that closer to 100, he probably looks a lot better last week. I think he's definitely a good guy to have for sure. Chase Edmonds, I don't really think he has the touchdown upside, to compete with like a Joe Mixon. Where do we want to go? Jonathan Taylor. The volume's there for Taylor, right? But I mean, the quarterback play there is alarming. Chris Carson, Najee Harris. Certainly not a bad way to go. I mean, Chris Carson in a high total game. Definitely not a bad place to go. So yeah, I'm gonna give Chris Carson a thumb. I see we're not really getting these higher priced running backs either. Interesting. Let's check out chat. Let's see. Are you looking into a car stack, most pass attempts, yards, and against a bad Miami defense? Let's check out old Derek Carr here. How does he stack up? And let's say we want, let's just say a 3-man. Okay, so if I play Derek Carr, and he's not currently in my pool, Derek Carr, a decent rating, really low owned, decent price tag, a lot of yards first 2 weeks against who you would think are good defenses. You stack him with Waller and Ruggs, probably. I don't think that's a bad way to go. Jacob's out, so they probably don't have that much of a running game. I think that's a solid large field play for sure. Like if you're playing like the nickel that's like 900,000 people, I think that's a pretty solid play. I really don't mind that at all. Is Saquon chalk? I was hoping to pivot to Gibson. Yeah, Saquon's gonna be popular, definitely. Definitely. So let's I mean, yeah, this is a decision he's got to make. So back to the running backs. I really like looking at high total running backs that are usually low owned. Like Nick Chubb at 6%, maybe a guy that looks really good. Let's give Nick Chubb a thumb too, and then go from there. I mean, are there any tight ends I want to kind of force in there? Not getting really any Gronk. I'm gonna give Pitts a thumb. Mark Andrews is interesting. I don't know. Do we think he's getting that 20-point outing? It's possible. But I mean, the upside for Kelsey and Waller is just so much more. I don't think Pitts can get up there too. All right, let's crunch that 500 again. All right. I mean, we're still getting a ton of Saquon after we thumbed him down, so we may have to just straight up kind of force that pivot. James Robinson a lot as well. I mean, 5,500 is a decent price tag. Not getting any high-priced running backs at all. That is interesting. Okay. So yeah, I know off the rip I want less Saquon Barkley, so we are gonna do this. I mean, when that doesn't work, I know I want less. I'm gonna limit it to 15 and then crunch from there. I mean, I just know that's a pivot I want to make, and I'm just pretty much gonna force it. You know, if Saquon ends up having that ceiling game that everyone thinks he's gonna have, then so be it. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. So, you know, I think it's likely that the Giants get it done through the air. If they do end up scoring a lot of points, so obviously this price tag. It's like a name brand thing, right? Yeah, we know Saquon Barkley is really good. Has he shown us that yet? No. But is he really cheap? Yes. So the field's going to go there. And if I can just outscore him with Damian Harris, then that's a good pivot. So I really don't mind making that pivot at all. We're getting Alvin Kamara, which should be pretty contrarian. Totally, you like Fant? Yeah, Fant's really good. Fant's definitely a solid tight end. See, what tight ends am I getting? I'm getting a lot of Hawkinson as a run back in those Baltimore stacks. But I mean, it's really concentrated in these top four. And I think I'd be fine with that in MME. But I mean, if you do want to spread out more, then I think Fant's a solid target. So yeah, let's get those top 150 owned and get them out of here. I mean, this isn't exactly how I get my final 150, but this is just more to see what plays stand out. So it's really a process. And oh, look at that, top 150. There we go. Let's see my projected. What plays are standing out? Pretty much all Saquon lineups got out of there, which is something I like to see. Daniel Jones looking pretty good. So, I mean, the base here was 13%. So, I mean, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Josh Allen getting up there. So, those lineups may end up being more contrarian. So, that's interesting. Lamar lineups went down a little bit. Stafford lineups went down a lot, probably because of Cooper Kupp. That's interesting. Okay, let's take a look at these Danny Dimes stacks. You know, I mean, this is a guy that I'm pretty sure I've been seeing Detroit BC tweet about all week, so maybe there's something here. Getting a lot of Galladay. Interesting. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he was limited in practice. I mean, is this all Galladay? A lot of this is Galladay. Okay. Sterling Shepard, 9% owned. That's a really cheap price tag for Kenny Galladay if he's going to be involved in the offense. I mean, he's shown us nothing so far, right? 8 targets, 3 receptions. So, I mean, him and Daniel Jones are obviously not on the same page. So, that's something. I really don't mind this Najee Harris, Chase Claypool little two-man right here. I don't think they take away from each other at all. Let's see. I mean, again, wide receiver with his own defense. That's something I'm going to fix. I'm getting this pairing a lot, though. They really do stand out. You know, I really don't see a need to play Ben Roethlisberger, but that may be, you know, a decent shot to take in that ginormous field. Get a lot of Pitts as an Atlanta run back as well. Am I getting any 21% Ridley and 79% Pitts? Okay. So, I mean, obviously Ridley is going to be harder to get to, as, you know, he's 8,100 and Pitts is 6,200. I definitely do like Pitts a lot. But, I mean, do I want him in every Danny Dimes lineup? Probably not. I think this running back pool is fine. Not really a huge fan of James Robinson, but, you know, the Urban Meyer offense just hasn't really shown us much so far. The Jags don't have a rushing attempt inside the 20. Oh my God, that's disgusting. Ew. What are we doing? So, I mean, I think as a whole, these lines, they look interesting, for sure. That's something to consider. It seems like Hill over Kelsey. Is that just for these lineups? Yeah, so it's gonna like Hill over Kelsey because it's because we're getting so much Pitts. So if we weren't getting so much Pitts, then I think Kelsey will probably get in there more. But we're getting a lot of Kamara. I'm getting a decent amount of Kamara here. So if you do want a like a spend up running back, this may be a solid stack to go with. So that's definitely interesting. Let's take a look at Kyler Murray. And what pass catchers am I getting with Kyler Murray? It's all Rondale Moore. So don't necessarily like that, but I mean, there are going to be games where Hopkins does close to nothing. Game time decision with ribs. That's not really what you want to see. And we got pretty much only Marvin Jones as the run back as well. I'll probably want to even that out if I'm running this many Kyler Murray lineups. Pretty much the same running backs. Get more Damian Harris in here just because we're getting less of the pay up guys. Get some shots at Fournette. I think that's a decent shot to take. High total game. It seems he's getting more snaps than Ronald Jones. So maybe that's something. Maybe that's a spot to go. Okay. That's interesting. So these individual lineups. Okay, well, actually, where are we going at tight end? A decent split between Waller, Kelsey, and Hawkinson. Waller's going to stand out more just because he's a lower price. Really similar upside. So, it just really depends who you prefer. And I don't really have a lean between Waller or Kelsey right now. I don't think there's a wrong choice there. But if I am going to build 60 Kyler lineups, I do want some differentiation at wide receiver just because it's so volatile. Definitely with the run back receivers for sure. I don't think you necessarily need a run back in these Arizona lineups. So I don't think that'll be something I force. Maybe go 50% with the run back, 50% with no run back. Naked Fields in GBP. So Fields price tag. He is down here 6,500. Really highly rated. It's interesting. We really don't have that much of a sample size. Just kind of got tossed into the fire last week, so he's got a full week of preparation. 10 rushing attempts last week, so that may be something that looks really good. So yeah, I think those 10 rushing attempts lead me to saying that I am okay with naked Justin Fields. But I would prefer him with a wide receiver. But I don't think that's a bad way to go. So for me right now, I think I definitely want Kyler Murray. Who I pair Kyler Murray with, that may depend on the final update tomorrow, but I think I definitely do want Kyler Murray against Jacksonville. I think that's a spot I'm definitely going to go. Daniel Jones is a solid 150 play. You get him in 10 lineups and see where it goes. Really don't mind that. So Josh Allen, let's see what we get. Who stands out here? Get a lot of Antonio Gibson. A lot more James Robinson in here, which is interesting. And we're getting more Saquon in these lineups, so that tells me that these are just going to be naturally more contrarian. So that's something to look at. Pretty much all Diggs, to be expected, right? I think if Josh Allen's going to be extremely efficient, Diggs is going to be a part of it. A major run back here is Terry McLaurin. Certainly a fine way to go. He's the guy. He's not like the number 3 receiver. He's the alpha there. So definitely don't mind it. If this game shoots out, Terry McLaurin is going to be a guy that's making a lot of big plays. Logan Thomas is a red zone threat. So if he gets in the end zone, I think that looks pretty good. So anything stick out here? Chris Carson and DK Metcalf. Little 2-man. It's interesting. It's a lot of James Robinson. It's a lot. I don't know if the volume's going to be there. That's tough. Let's take a look at the range of outcomes and see if James Robinson even pops. So I mean, we're already filtered here. Where's James Robinson at? Did I miss him? He's down here. That's interesting. Nick Chubb getting like no love here, by the way. No love. It's interesting. Yeah, I think I don't really want James Robinson. I mean, his target score percentage is pretty good. Really cheap as well, so I mean that's a value piece. It's tough to say. Tough to say. I mean, like, do I want to pivot from James Robinson to Javonte Williams? I don't know. I feel like either way that's just as risky. But I think that's a call I'm going to make. All right, I didn't mean to X out of that. Let's see. Back to Josh Allen. So I mean, these lines look fine. Josh Allen really low owned. Diggs, you're getting an ownership, discount just because Josh Allen hasn't performed. This may be a game that is really good. I mean, it could be a really low scoring game. That's tough. It's a solid contrarian stack. Terry McLaurin's only 2%, so that's something you gotta think about. Now, is the upside there? I would say definitely yes, because Josh Allen is still throwing the ball a ton. So I don't mind that. I think he's a solid MME play. Probably not a guy I'm going to go to in single entry. These Tom Brady lineups only got 44 of these. So a ton of Chris Carson. Absolute ton. Damien Harris in that same range. Or Najee Harris, rather. Damien Harris going in there as well. A ton of Chris Godwin. Antonio Brown, is he still... He's still in the COVID IR, so... we'll have to see. Obviously, if Antonio Brown is out, then, the other receivers get a bump. And they likely get an ownership bump as well, so... keep that in mind. So who are we getting as a run back? Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. Probably going to be the guys that we get, right? Yeah, it's really Kupp and Woods. Yeah, I mean, you think this game shoots out? It's maybe a solid way to go. Just know if you go here, you're getting some highly owned receivers, so you're going to have to, make some ownership sacrifices elsewhere. Let's see. Brown didn't make the trip to LA. Okay. There it is. All right. So, so it's Godwin, Evans, and then, who's in there? I suppose it's Scotty Miller, if I'm correct. Looks like it would be Scotty Miller. But I mean, if you're prioritizing people, it's obviously these two with Gronk. So I mean, maybe Gronk does look better now, but tough to say. I mean, I don't know if this game's gonna be as high scoring as as Vegas and the field probably has it. Mike Evans at 4% looks really good. If that holds, don't mind going Brady to Evans. That's certainly not a bad way to go. See here. Who are we getting at tight end? Not getting any Gronk. Darren Waller. I mean, really pretty much an even split here. So that's interesting. Okay, so I mean, I think the question here is, like with this Cup and Godwin combo, do I like the pieces around it? Right? Like this lineup, I would probably say yes. Right? Antonio Gibson, we've talked about him. He definitely has the upside. Joe Mixon, secure with his workload. But I will say that this secondary stack of Mixon, Claypool, and Najee Harris is aggressive. So maybe that's not something I run. Right? Maybe I pivot from Najee Harris to somebody in his salary range. I mean, maybe we go Justin Jefferson in the flex. That may be something that offers just as much upside. I think Terry McLaurin as well looks really good. So that's something to think about. Kind of going down the list here. Anything sticks out? I mean, I've kind of hammered home the point. James Robinson, I'm not really there. But I mean, if you're gonna have these expensive stacks, you got to go down somewhere. So I mean, that's really something. You got to take a shot at somebody down there. I think I would rather be Damian Harris than James Robinson. If I'm gonna have a value. I really even think I would rather take a shot at Javonte Williams over James Robinson. I mean, even Melvin Gordon's a guy that can get in the end zone as well. I like these Brady lineups. It's just really going to depend on the ownership closer to lock. So to recap right now, definitely Kyler Murray. I think he'll be my single entry guy. I think it's a really high probability play to go. And yeah, so at least Harris is on a better offense. Yeah, that's definitely true. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Trevor Lawrence is just gonna be slinging the rock, and Urban Meyer is kind of finding his footing in the NFL. So yeah, I would say Kyler Murray's my single entry guy. Daniel Jones is MME. Josh Allen, I don't mind it. The volume's there. It's just a matter of, can he be more efficient? If that answer is yes, then I think Josh Allen as well. Brady, really on a tear to start the season. They're going to lean on him. I certainly think he's a fine play. Russell Wilson. I will say my early lean here is yes. I do want Russell Wilson. So I think this is an underrated game. Really highly rated as well. So Wilson and Metcalf with Jefferson coming back looks really good. Really don't mind running a 4-man here as well if you have Metcalf and Lockett in there. I think this is a game I definitely want to be having some exposure to. Certainly a guy I'm going to be relatively heavy in MME on. But I would want some more exposure to Adam Thielen as well. So yeah, I'm not just going to go all in on Justin Jefferson. But yeah, I would want Adam Thielen. Is Thielen priced up? What's going on here? Adam Thielen, he's only $200 more, and he's 7% owned. So yeah, I mean, a way to get more Adam Thielen, you could thumb him up. You could go into groups and just straight up get him in there. KJ Osborne, he's I'll say this: he's getting the targets, but he's racking up a lot of receptions off of those targets. So something to think about. I would prefer one of the top two guys, but if you want to toss in a shot at KJ Osborne, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Toller, no love for Cousins. 9 out of 20 sacks from that game. 5. Wilson, 4 Cousins. Higher chance of touchdown also. Yeah, I mean, I think Kirk Cousins is solid as well. He didn't make it in my pool. I mean, lower rated. Okay, so on FanDuel, I mean, really the question is, do you want Kirk Cousins over, this range of Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford? Probably not. But I mean, I think he's a solid play. I don't mind Kirk at all. I definitely want pieces of that game. I think. So if I'm going, I think at this point I know what I want to do. So I definitely want Kyler Murray. I would say he's my QB1. And then from here, I know I want Russell Wilson. I want exposure there. I probably want to run some bigger game stacks there. I think that game looks really good. I would say I want Tom for now. Again, let's see how ownership shakes out there. I may want Herbert. Maybe. It's interesting. I mean, if we just look at straight projections, Herbert, he kind of goes down there a little bit. Volume really high. Yards are pretty good. But I mean, just overall scoring is low. It's a big decision to make. What you're going to do with that game. Yeah, Adam Thielen is a really good red zone guy. And I think I saw like an ESPN graphic that he's got one of the highest target shares in the red zone. And like he's only like, I think he's been targeted like 20 times or something. And he's only like, the pass hasn't been completed on like 2 or something like that. It's something nuts. Yeah, so if I'm only going 3 quarterbacks, it's probably here. If I want to go up to 5 in MME, I probably go. Probably go here if I want to stack. If I'm fine with running, like Nick and Lamar, certainly fine. But I think this is definitely my top 4. So we can run a crunch here. This is the change I want to make. I want to boost Javonte Williams a bit. And where's old James Robinson? Gonna give him kind of the boot there. Let's take this thumb off of Nick Chubb. All right. Just gonna let wide receivers come in as they may. I'm really fine with how tight end looks, and the defense is fine. So let's say Say we do that for now. Quarterbacks. Do that, divide it. And then let's crunch 75. I need to adjust Minnesota to make sure I get some Adam Thielen in there. So let's give Adam Thielen one thumb up and see how it goes. Am I getting him at all? I'm getting some Adam Thielen now, less than I would like. So we're going to go ahead and give him another thumb. And just kind of trial and error here. Is it closer? It is closer now. So, I mean, if the... Okay, actually, that's a lot more Thielen than I do want. Okay. So we could even go in here and just straight up adjust the projection. So let's just say we give them the same projection, right? And I actually have to adjust this a little bit to account for Thielen's higher salary. So a much more even split there. I do like that. All right, and then just differentiating the stacks in here. QB2, wide receiver, tight end. And then we go 75, and boom. And let's just see how these look. Running back exposure, certainly fine with it. Even with the bump, Javonte Williams didn't really get in there. So I'm probably not going to force that. Do I want to go this heavy on Antonio Gibson? Maybe not. But he is, he's really cheap. So like, if I get less Antonio Gibson, cause and effect, I'm going to be getting more Damian Harris. And probably, like, more Leonard Fournette. So, I mean, maybe I want this number closer to 40 and bumping Damian Harris up closer to 40. So let's go ahead. A couple ways we can go here. Let's just go ahead and put Gibson down to 45. And then just keep going. And then while that's crunching, we can just do this. Add it. 75. Okay, I mean, yeah, you can see here it gave a bump to Damian Harris, gave a bump to Fournette. Little bumps to Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams as well. I think that's solid running back exposure. I mean, Joe Mixon, it's really not a sexy matchup at all, but he's going to be getting the work. So that's something to consider. Wide receivers, are pretty spread out as I wanted to be. Thielen and Jefferson are really close, which is what I wanted. Yeah, we're really spread out there. Tight ends really got the big three, and then some Kyle Pitts. I think that's fine. And then defense, obviously, we're spread out. So I think this is a solid top 4 quarterbacks. And I think that's a solid way to go. So, yeah, that's FanDuel. And obviously, if you want to watch this stream back at all, you can feel free to do that. This will just save as a regular video, so you have the link to the article. You can just watch this back. Yeah, that'll be that'll do it for me. This is gonna be where I'm going tomorrow in MME, and obviously single entry. I said Kyler Murray, so that's where I'm gonna go. Kind of a recap. I want less Saquon Barkley, less Mike Davis. and less James Robinson. And then I gave some bumps to Chris Carson, Damian Harris, some Javonte Williams. That's more like a test. And then, just really wide receiver, tight end, just got the exposures that I want. So, that's where I'm going to end it, guys. And, I will see you all in Discord.